Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. So, it took me longer to get back in here per usual, but it gave me time to think about what I was going to do, and I figured out exactly what I'm going to do to get the best tone out of the intro bit, the do do do, and then the ching ching ching, the main rhythm bit that runs through most of the song. So, the intro riff sounds amazing in this lowest pickup, in the bridge pickup, and it's called the Special Bridge by Lawler. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. I've got it plugged directly in with a Northeast cable on 5 on a Fender Deluxe with no reverb, and I have everything turned up to 10, and I'm in the bridge, and it's not that high. Because it's a powerful pickup. It's like 7.5K and the rest are like 5 point something. So I don't have it up too high, but you can get these up higher than some single coils because they're flat. They don't have the the pole pieces sticking up. So you can get it all the way to the face of the pickup cover. This seemed to be the sweet spot for this riff. So I'll show you the difference. Here it is in the middle. That one's the one I'm going to use for rhythm. Sounds great, but it's just a little thinner. And then finally, here's the neck. Now it has almost like a telly type of vibe, so I'm going down to here, all the way to the Special Bridge. Get like a real full, like round kind of bottle tone. It's amazing sounding. In the room, I don't know if it's coming through there, on this little mic on this camera. But man, in here, it's just like insane. It sounds so good. Okay, and then the bulk of the song is just these major chords. I've tried it different ways, like playing it and sometimes I just go, leaving off the major stuff, the bar. But it sounds the best barred. But in this pickup, it's too thick. Listening to it on 5, this pickup is sounding really good, but I think I prefer the middle pickup. Actually, I'm going to do a quick sample. No, I think I'm just going to side. That's just sounding right. Okay, so my initial plan when I came into here tonight was to play this part, and then as I transition to the note, so it doesn't sound like I overdubbed it, I was going to go something like, and then stop, then overdub, and this pickup, and I was hoping it would sound seamless, and I think I could make it seamless, but if I could keep the whole thing in this Special Bridge, then I wouldn't have the awkward, live it's no problem to switch back and forth. But on a recording, I don't want to have the click unless I was doing it for an effect, and I don't want it to distract me from the part. I already struggle enough as it is, getting really good parts, in 1 or 2 takes, so I don't want to mess it up by having to think about all this stuff, if that makes sense. Extra noise I'm hearing. Okay, so alright, let's see what happens. This is sounding so good to my ears. Okay, so new plan. I'm going to just try to play the take all the way through. We'll see what happens. I'm going to stop the camera, get everything set up. I'm going to unplug the cable, so we don't have any interference from any of this stuff laying on the floor, because that little tiny AC adapter cable is really thin, and if it lays on any microphone cables or another power cable, you can get some interference that comes in on the recording, so I just eliminate that possibility by going battery power. Alright, so let me tune up, get everything ready to go. I'll show you what I do so that you can do this at home, and we'll try to get a take. If not, if I don't get a take now, at least we're all set up and ready to go. Okay, so kind of changed my mind back again after playing around with it, and I am going to separate the riff from the chord playing. Hopefully it'll work. We'll see, but I think it will, and it'll make it a lot easier for me to get through the take because I have to transition from this back to that little riff thing, which causes me consternation, and I don't always nail this, come back here and nail this perfectly. Live, it's not going to matter at all, but on the recording, I want to at least, sound halfway decent, and I don't want to, stay in here for the next couple nights wrestling with it, and then deciding to do it, in separate tracks anyway. So, first I'm going to do the little riff part, and let me just tell you what I've got on the Zoom. I've got the high Z is off. I've got this at 0, mainly because you don't get good playback unless you use the Zoom's, pre's. But I'm beefing it up with the Rane MS1B, and I've got it on 2, a little past 2. And that just gives you a little more juice. Now, phantom power is off because I'm using a ribbon mic, the Cascade ribbon mic, a fathead. And the reason that you don't use phantom power is it'll destroy the ribbon, potentially. And so I don't mess around with phantom power. And this preamp just gives it a little extra juice, makes it perform way better. Honestly, the Zoom just doesn't have enough power to run mics like this properly. Same thing with the condenser mics. That works okay with dynamic mics, but the large diaphragm condensers, that need a phantom power, this phantom power is not suitable. So I don't mess around with the phantom power on the Zoom. It's just a deficiency of the machine, but it's an easy workaround. You just use outboard, which is no big thing. This thing cost me like $100 or whatever. So now I'm plugged in directly. I've removed the high Z. There's no need for it because we're not plugging an instrument in. If we were using the effects and using that instead of an amplifier, we would need that. Okay, now I've got the master. Then I will always put pan EQ up and go all the way to track 20, past 24 to the master, and just make sure the master's at 100, and that's easy enough. Okay, and then back at the input track, which is track 1, I've got the red light on engaged, and if I check pan EQ, I'm going to make sure that I've got everything set to 0. So I've got all my reverb, chorus, the lows, highs, mids are all on 0. The pan is on center, and if you wanted to record left or right, that's how you would adjust. But I'm going to go center. I don't need any reverb. I don't need any chorus. My fader on the main thing I'm checking on here is to make sure I'm at 100. I want full output on both the master and the channel. And then because I'm adding some, instead of using the gain on the Zoom, which is fine, but it adds a little hash, I'm getting a cleaner boost from my mic pre, the Rane, coming directly from the ribbon mic, which is about 8 inches out and is not using phantom power. That's important. I want to blow your microphones up for you. Okay, so the idea of this, and I've gone battery power because I don't want the cable touching anything and giving me any noises that are not necessary. And then I make sure everything else that's in the signal path is not touching power, like guitar cables not laying across power cables and microphones and all that kind of stuff. Let's try to keep all that to a minimum. It is shielded, but Alright, so I'm going to turn this up. I've got this on 5. I'm using the Special Bridge Lawler pickup for this riff. And I'm going to have the playback going in my ears. And I'm sitting pretty close to the amp, but it's not too loud. It's more of a cleaner deal. And so I should be able to hear everything. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I'll be able to get a take today, but at least I'll be able to show you, what all we're doing. That might help you with recording guitars yourself if you're getting into recording on an amplifier, or if you're using the effects. It's basically the same process. You just don't have a microphone involved or an outboard pre or any of that. All right, let's see what happens here. way down. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, I'm going to turn the drums up because they're too quiet, so it's making me, hesitate. All right, let's see what happens next. And I might duck out of here and just show you what happened if this gets boring, because it could go on for a while. It's going to take me a minute. I probably won't get it tonight, but one of the little nuances I like is to wiggle up here, so it's like da 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 da. Just want to make sure I capture all that little nuance stuff because this amp sounds so good, and these pickups, this guitar. Okay, where are we? All right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to work on this and I'm going to track it, hopefully on camera, but I'm running out of time, and I want to shoot coverage of everything I told you as far as setting this up. Okay, let me just show you what I'm going to do so tomorrow you'll have a heads up. All right, so I'm going to play the riff like I've been doing in track 1. So it's like, notice how it went cha-cha. So it's like, and I won't emphasize it that much, but I want to move to the next position on this track. So it's like, that cha-cha. Then when you're getting out of this, to then go to the next one. So I'll go through, record the opening riff, that da 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 da, and then as it goes, it's like cha-cha. That is when I'll stop, go to the next track, and then we'll switch pickups. Or no, we're going to leave it in the same pickup, but it'll just sound better because I won't be, worrying about going from the chord bit to the lead bit, to the riff bit, the arpeggio. So here we go. And then you cha-cha. Wow. Wonderful sounding amp and guitar combination. All right, so as you can see, what I'm going to do is it'll feel like one guitar is playing, hopefully, with the drums and singing and bass and whatever percussion, the whole track working together. I don't think you'll notice, and if you do, obviously I'll just play it all the way through. I'm just kind of hoping to avoid that, because after a few times around I can tell that this little bit, even though I've been playing it a lot, it's going to take me a minute to get good at it, and then it'll disrupt the chords. I'll end up making a bunch of extra mistakes and taking forever, whereas it's much more manageable if I separate the bits, I think, and I don't think it'll be noticeable or it'll kill like the playing vibe. And obviously live, none of this will matter, because things happen live that are different from when you're recording. When you're recording, you don't have any glitches or whatever, unless it's a live 2-track recording, and that's part of the vibe. All right, so work is cut out for me, but this is really very manageable, and I'm sorry I can't get the take here today, because in case you're tuning it in and wanting to get past this into the next thing, I do as well, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'll have this tracked, and then we'll start working out what I'm going to do for like a little live bit, a lead bit that goes over the like where our lead would be, but I think of it more as like just a musical interlude moment. But I'm going to try to come up with something cool, because I've been working so hard on learning the Are You Experienced album, and Andy Alador and Anthony over at Texas Blues Alley, all the lessons that he provides. I want to put in some of the stuff that I'm working on, and just make the song more interesting. But we're going to get this down first. I'll do the little lead bit, and then it's on to bass and vocals. This thing will be done in no time. And I'm excited because I'm moving into another song that I like equally well. And for whatever reason, they seem like they have, it's like a 3-song trilogy. The We Know Them, this one, Witching Hour, and the new one's called El Dorado. And all 3 of them sort of have a same, like telling the same story, the same kind of musical vibe, very stratty, kind of cleaner, less mid-range. So yeah, I don't know. It's like a thing that's happening. And then I have the other tracks from the record that I recorded earlier this year. And yeah, earlier this year. God, it's hard to remember even what year it is with all this lockdown stuff and COVID and everything. But yeah, wrapping this up. I'm gonna try to wrap this up at least like the first side. Will totally be wrapped by the end of the year, and then hoping to go into or like 6 songs will be wrapped by the end of the year, and then I'm hoping to go into 2022 by completing this record like in the first quarter. That's the goal, so that it'll be ready for like spring summer shows if there's any spring summer shows to be had. I'm ready to play out live again. All right, so thank you for watching. Hopefully it's helping you at home with your Zoom project. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to message me here, because I have, most of the time I'm learning from what people are asking me or telling me. It's not like I'm some kind of guru. It's like an open community, back and forth, forum type thing. All right, next time.